Okay. Namaste, everybody. Let's start this evening in child's pose. So you might grab a blanket if you'd like extra cushion under your knees, because we'll do our warm up here too. So we'll be here for a little bit. So just a reminder for everybody at home, we have people in the studio too. So sometimes I might stop and look at them. And sometimes I talk directly to them and they talk directly to me. If you're confused, just tune that part out. So everybody's child's pose is going to look a little bit different depending on each of our abilities to flex in the hips or flex in the knees. And so if you can't sit the hips all the way back, you can always come forward a bit and leave the hips more stacked on top of the knees or just behind them and walk the upper body forward and lower the head and forearms to the mat. And if you can sit your hips all the way back, it doesn't mean you can't try this other variation. It might change the experience of the pose for you. And you might decide that sometimes you prefer that experience over a deeper stretch through the hips. It kind of gives you a little bit more sensation through the upper spine. So just however you need, and you can also move forward or back to even try to help change the angle on your neck if it doesn't feel comfortable. Like you can soften and relax the muscles in the back of the neck so it feels long and the shoulders are relaxing away from the ears wherever the arms are. And we'll just start by turning our attention inward. Begin to kind of scan through your body, your physical body, and just notice what you notice, just without judgment. So noticing as though you were kind of an active observer, an objective observer, like you're gazing upon things for the first time, because really you are. It's a new day, right? You're in a new moment to moment. Is a fresh moment, is a new moment. So try to just take it in, be kind with yourself as best as you can. And see if there's any areas of tension through the body. And try to just take an inhale, like you're breathing beyond that tension, and then gently exhale to release it. So you can use this throughout the practice, using your breath as your guide. And if you can kind of breathe beyond the tension, beyond the discomfort, and then release it, then that might be enough. If it's not, then you might need to consider backing out of the pose a little bit or taking a modification or variation. And we really want to trust that wisdom. So there's a deeper intelligence going on, and it's always there. It comes in with the prana, so it's always there. You want to use it. Just connect to that and allow it to guide you. Take one more nice deep inhale here and exhale. And then lift the forehead, walking the hands over to your right till you feel that first stretch on the left side. Lower the forehead again. Breathe into the left side body. Hug the right side body in as you exhale. And do that 2 more breaths. With an inhale, walk your hands to center. And exhale over to the left. Again, to that first feeling of stretch on the right, and you'll use your breath to guide you a little deeper. Inhaling into the right side. Exhale, hug the left side into the body to deepen the stretch a little bit. And take 2 more breaths like that. And then inhaling back to center again. Slide the hands down near the shoulders, rise up to tabletop. Bring your knees into underneath the hips and kind of pick them up one at a time until you feel like the hips are level. And then pick up one hand at a time and set it down as you relax the shoulders away from the ears. And again, hug the arm bones up into the shoulder sockets. And feeling nice and stable with those 4 points grounding equally. And inhale, glide forward about 4 inches. Exhale, glide back. Keep moving with your breath, just syncing the movement to the breath. So you move kind of slow because it isn't a very big movement and your breaths are nice and deep now. So don't try to change the breath to speed up or anything like that. One more inhale and then one more exhale, keeping that gentle grounding through the points connecting to the mat. Come back to center. And we'll bow and arrow our left arm up with our breath. So inhale, draw the left elbow up toward the ceiling and kind of come into an open twist. You can even look left and exhale, lower it back down. 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, twisting open, and exhale, lower. Last time, this time we can exhale, straighten the arms, the left arm, and then inhale, we'll thread it under and lower down over to the right. Take 3 breaths here. This top hand is for support. So it can be here, halfway, overhead, or fully extended. And I know some people like to do the little wrap here. Just try to relax the tops of the shoulders away from the ears. And on your 4th inhale, you'll rise up. Exhale back to tabletop. And we'll do the other side. Inhale, right arm, bow and arrow. So like you're pulling back on a bow, and exhale, lower it. And 2 more times. Inhale. Just gently twisting, an open twist here to just warm the spine. And then you can extend the arm with the exhale and inhale, lower down. Release into it on the exhale and take 3 more breaths. So tops of the shoulders relax away from the ears. We're used to letting them come up into the ears. And so then when we even come down and we have gravity kind of pulling them, it might just naturally happen. So just try to be aware of that so it doesn't put any undue pressure on the neck. On your 4th inhale, rise up. Take some hip circles clockwise. And then counterclockwise. Some crackling kneecaps here in the studio. It's okay, as long as it doesn't hurt. Come back to center. Float your left leg back, ball of the foot down. Feel your hips nice and level. So not allowing the left hip to pop open. And just reach back through the heel, getting a little stretch, shoulders relaxed, hands grounded. So you feel nice and strong through your whole upper back and shoulder girdle. And then inhale, float the left leg, toes pointing down, just keep it hip height. And if you want more challenge, you can extend your right arm overhead, thumb up, bird dog. Nice neutral spine. So sometimes when we go add this load with the arm and the leg out, you might feel the back kind of overextend there in the lower spine. So try to pull up in the front bottom rib cage and lengthen through the tailbone. 1 more breath. And we'll come back to center. Switching sides, floating your right leg back. Start with the ball of the foot down to feel the hips remain level. Yeah, kind of connecting with the foundation that has like a tripod base. And float the leg. Toes still pointing down. It's kind of like you spiral that inner thigh up toward the ceiling. Then extend the left arm if you want. It's just an option. And take a few breaths. Just making sure you're not dropping the belly toward the floor. Dropping the rib cage toward the floor. And then come back to hands and knees. Sit back in child's pose again, just to give the arms a rest. You can even take them back along the sides for a full rest. Just noticing how that one simple pose really starts to warm the body. And then your next inhale, come back up to table. Lower your forearms down one at a time with the palms up and the elbows right underneath the shoulders. And then take your knees a little bit wider and sit back into your child's pose. Again, if you get to about here and you can't take your hips any closer, you'll just slide your arms forward and lower the forehead. Just a little different stretch for the shoulders. Breathe in and out here. Now inhale again to rise. Lining up your tabletop. This time bring your knees together, feet together. And inhale at the center and exhale, just let your hips drop to the right. And then inhale to the center and let your hips drop over to the left on the exhale. So just moving it out like that. Inhaling at the middle and exhaling to the sides. One more time to the right and one more time to the left. And we'll all meet back in the center. Take your knees wide or hip width apart again. Good. Inhale into your cow pose, nice and easy. Exhale, round into cat, and then sit back into devotional. Inhale, rise up and go right into cow. Exhale, round into cat and sit back to child's pose or devotional. Inhale, rise to cow. Exhale, round to cat, sit back into devotional. Good. Inhale, cow again. This time, exhale, neutral spine down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And pedal the feet here a few times. Let's take 3 more breaths. Keep this really dynamic and moving here. Keep it nice and fluid. Shoulders relaxing away from the ears. Even kind of feel the shoulder blades wrap around the back instead of trying to pinch them together. Feel them slide down so they broaden on the rib cage. Very good. And then lower down to your knees. Lower all the way down onto your belly, lying flat. Take your hands out next to your chest and then slide your elbows down. So if this feels like too crowded, like you can't keep your shoulders relaxed, you can bring your hands lower, more toward next to like the bottom of the rib cage or the midway rib cage. I kind of prefer that one. It's easier for me to hug my elbows into my side bodies and reach them towards my heels. And then keeping my chin toward my chest, let's be sure that we press and activate through the tops of our feet into the mat. We don't want the knees to come away from the mat because that would be a little too much effort. We just want to feel our legs tone in the fronts and the backs. And then gently let the top of your sacrum nod toward your lower spine so that you feel your pubic bone gently press into the mat too. Then you can inhale and lift up into your cobra by pressing your shoulder blades up toward the ceiling and let your gaze come up last out in front of your mat. And then exhale and lower. Keep moving in and out with your breath. Initiate the movement from the back body. The strong muscles of the back, the shoulder blades like they're reaching up to the ceiling. And then exhale, lower, and try not to lose all engagement. Inhale, lift. The back of the neck muscles should feel soft and long, like you're lengthening in the back of the neck. And again, inhale, lifting. And exhale, lower. Take your right cheek to the floor for a rest and take your arms out to a T, allowing the upper back to really round and just breathe. Send the breath there. Remember that useful technique to be able to expand beyond any tension with the in-breath and release it with the out-breath. Good. And then take your arms overhead. Cupcake the hands, so fingernails to the floor. And then relax the shoulders out of the ears. So your hands might actually move a little closer to you. Try to keep your elbows lifted, arms lifted. Feel like your underarms are kind of hollowing out. Back of the neck is long. Press into the tops of the feet. Good. Feel that sacrum, top of the sacrum, nod to the lower spine. Then press into the hands to lift yourself up and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Just keep gazing down. Keep the chin toward the chest. So I want you to feel this all across like your back, around the shoulder blades, those kind of downward V muscles, the lats. Yeah, good job. Keep breathing. And then slowly lower down. This time take your left cheek to the floor, arms out to a T. Enjoy a few resting breaths here. Just kind of notice how the whole back body's sort of bubbling, vibrating now after we've worked to isolate in those back bends. We've got some new, fresh, vital blood flow to the area that usually is kind of rounding forward in flexion all day. Good. Gaze back to center again. Tuck the chin toward the chest. This time you can rest your forehead to the mat while we sit up. Arms back at the sides. Leave the arms just to rest with the palms up. And if you want, you can even slide the hands under the thighs so that the palms are against the thighs and the backs of the hands to the mat. So Ardha Alibasana, half locust. You can let the top of the sacrum still gently nod into the lower spine. Then inhale, lift your right leg as high as you can. Try to get as much as your leg off the floor as you can. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the left leg. Step on the gas with your big toe pad and draw your toes towards your knee. Exhale, lower. 2 more times each side. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering, and alternating sides. Relax the jaw. Wait for the next breath as it's ready to naturally come in. So you almost kind of, there's a millisecond where you like begin to breathe and then you move. And then resting. And then on your next inhale, keeping the top of the sacrum gently nodding to the lower spine. Inhale, lift the chest and shoulders, squeeze the elbows back. Keep looking down, back of the neck is long, chin toward the chest. And then lift the legs, stepping on the gas with both feet, coming into full Shalabhasana. So if you feel any pinching in your glutes, try to take your heels wider and your big toes together and create some space around the sacrum and try to activate more hamstrings, hopefully, those big ones in the backs of the thighs. One more breath. A little bit of movement with the breath as you expand. That's okay. And then lower, taking a cheek or forehead or chin. I know some people Kind of like to rest like this with the chin to the mat too, and that's okay. Feel the lower spine really kind of vibrating and singing like effervescent bubbles running up and down the lower spine on either side. And bring your hands forward. Inhale, rise to table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal it out again. Keep this really fluid and dynamic. Just like kind of like you're just wiggling into it. Maybe even if you have pets, four-legged babies, dogs, think about when they do a down dog, they don't push with their paws. They literally like reach up and draw themselves up by their booty, like by their back and their hindquarters and their hips. So their spine and their tail reaches up and back. So like imagine you have that tail. You're reaching up like it's pulling you up. The shoulders relax. So it has a little bit of a lightness actually in the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders. One more breath. And then you can take your feet mat width apart, bend your knees. Inhale, baby step the hands to the feet. Exhale, hands to thighs and press up with a long spine to standing. Good. Come to the front of your mat in Tadasana. So you can do the same thing we did in table, kind of pick up one foot at a time, rock side to side. So you feel your feet come under you in your natural center. Your weight distributes evenly over the feet, not gripping in the toes. So I suggest just kind of keeping them gently lifted and spread during the standing poses. As you inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head with the same amount of effort and force that you're grounding through the feet. And as you exhale, ground toward the midline of the body then. So that lengthening up and grounding down always remains with equanimity through the body. And as you exhale, it reminds you to ground your energy now and your focus toward that central column that runs along the spine. On the inside of the body, it's kind of like a candle wick. Take 2 more breaths, connecting to that energy of a strong mountain with the firmly planted base and the celestial top. And we'll turn our palms open toward the opposite wall. And then bend your knees just a little bit. Then take your hip creases and send them back to the short edge of the mat behind you, lowering into just a half chair. Let's move in and out dynamically. Inhale, sweep the arms up, straighten. Exhale, sweep them down, sit back into your chair. Just a baby chair. Inhale, lift up. Notice, as soon as you feel the muscles in the lower spine engage, when you sit back, just pause right there in the pause between the breath. And then inhale, sweep up and straighten. Exhale, sit back, arms lower, reach back behind you a little bit, lift the chest. One more, inhale. And exhale. Then go ahead and hold. If you want to sit a little deeper, take the arms out in front of you, palms up, pull the arm bones back into their sockets and sit back, but reach the hips back, not allowing the knees to come any more forward, but the hips to kind of sit deeper. And you're grounding in the big toe pads so that it doesn't feel like you're going to fall backward. It might even be easier if you take your arms a little wider with the palms up. This is useful for me because I feel my upper spine engage more and participate more in holding me upright in the squat. One more breath. Then inhale, stand up, sweep the arms up, stretch tall. Exhale, interlace the fingers, press them to the ceiling. And then release the elbows down just a little bit and do one more. Inhale. And then exhale, stretch again. Shoulders relax, palms up. And release the hands at the sides. Step our right foot back to warrior one. So usually more of a railroad width stance to allow you to square up toward the front short edge of your mat. Feel yourself rotate a little bit even at the rib cage so that your shoulders feel square, and ground in the feet. Notice if you're gripping in either foot with the toes. Just try to ground like you did in Tadasana. And then inhale, sweep the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee and bend into the elbows, scraping them along your sides. And you can kind of make a little clasp with your fingers like you're pulling back on something. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten, lift. Exhale, bend and pull back. 1 more. Inhale and then exhale. Good. Take your hands to your hips from here. And we're just going to flow up onto your back, big toes, and then press the heel back down. Do that again. Press up onto your back, big toe. Release back down. 1 more, just to challenge the stability a little bit. And then back down. Release the arms at the sides and step the back foot forward. Take 2 breaths in mountain. Yeah, you can like wiggle out the legs. And step the left foot back, warrior one. Bend in that front knee. Again, you might have to really think about rotating the rib cage so that the shoulders feel square, and then ground through your back foot. Notice what the feet are doing. So for this one, let's take our hands behind our head. I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my head and relax my head back into my hands as much as I can, pulling my elbows back. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, lean back a little bit more into the back bend if you want, lifting the heart. And then exhale, bend and come forward and squeeze the elbows together. So inhale, straighten, relax back. Exhale, bend the knee, bring the elbows forward. So I'm not pushing on the head here. I'm trying to relax my head back on the straightening. Inhale, last one. Exhale, gazing down, elbows together. Take the elbows open now, lift the heart. Release the hands at the sides and step the back foot forward. Oh, sorry, we got to do our little rocking forward on this side. So step your left foot back again. Almost forgot. Hands at the hips. Then I just, without gripping in the front toes, roll forward to that back big toenail and then set it back down. 2 more times. Just kind of trying to activate some of those muscles, those inner core muscles, and then step the back foot forward. Take a couple breaths in mountain pose. Last breath. Good. So I'm going to turn and face you guys so you can see me better. I actually might turn like to the back a little bit. So standing with your feet a little wider than the hips, we'll take our left arm out to the side with the thumb down. Right arm is going to go up overhead. Bend the right elbow, hand behind the head. Bend the left arm. Start just like this, nice and easy. Some people are going to be able to take this hand up toward the middle of the back and this one to meet, where you can clasp the fingers. This is it for me on this side. It's not something you're going to force, even if you tried, and I really don't recommend it. But take the version that doesn't make you have to like push and round forward, okay? So just be kind to yourself. I know my elbow's way out here. See, like these girls, I'm jealous because they can get their elbow right next to their head, but we can't. It's okay. I'm just going to hold and breathe here. You might keep your eyes open, actually, Kim. Okay. So slowly release the bottom arm, just let it hang at the side, then release the top arm down. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, imagine the tension down the arms and releasing out of the fingertips. You can kind of wiggle them out a little bit or flick them. We got to do the other side. So right arm out to the side, thumb down. Left arm extends up. Bend your bottom arm along the waist. Bend the top elbow. Yep. So this side, you can see on me, is even worser. It's more worser. This is where the sending the breath to the tension technique can be very useful. Should be no sharp pain in our joints, but for most people, there's quite a bit of tension in our shoulders, and this one kind of makes it sort of rise to the surface. So try to just gently expand beyond it and exhale, release it. That at least gives you something to focus on other than the fact that it's like, oh man, this one's hard to hold. It can be kind of intense, but just focus on your breath. And then slowly release the bottom arm, release the top arm. Take that deep breath into the heart space and exhale, let it drain the tension through the arms and out of the fingertips. Yeah, you can kind of shake it out too. Good. So let's come down to your knees. You might want that blanket again under the knees. Then I'll also have you just go ahead and set up a bolster close by if you have that, or if you have 2 blocks, you can use those and put them on their tall side. Either one can work. I know not everybody has blocks, but some people have like a couple pillows they could use as a bolster or something at home, or you might have 1 block. So come down onto your knees and you have that blanket for cushion. I'll turn and face you guys. And let's take our right leg out. Yeah, come up on high knees. And then take your right leg out to the side. You want this knee under the hip, these toes pointing forward as best you can. If you need to set the leg in front of you a little bit, if you're having like some impingement here or something, that's fine with me. But if you're able, try to keep it in line with the hip. Relax this right arm on the thigh. Inhale, sweep the left arm straight up, shoulder relaxed. And exhale, side bend over. Just let that hand slide down the thigh. So just like, I know I should be mirroring you guys, I'm sorry. I'm just was like looking at the people at home and not even really thinking. Okay, making sure they were following along okay. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna switch sides. Good. So inhale is that reminder to lengthen. And as you exhale, you hug that right rib cage into the body to kind of deepen the stretch over on that opposite side. Good. Let's move in and out. Inhale up, exhale side bend. Just a couple times, nice and easy. So ways to like make poses maybe that feel a little awkward is to just move in and out with the breath a few times. See if the body comes a little bit more supple and responds, and then you can hold again. Good. And then coming up, release the arm, bring the knee back next to the other. Take a deep breath in high knees. And then we'll switch sides. So left foot out to the side. Relax that left hand to the thigh. Inhale, sweep your right arm up. Exhale, side bend. Kind of just take a couple breaths. See if you need to make any adjustments with the foot or otherwise. Connecting to the exhale, drawing this rib cage in so that we do that as we move dynamically. So inhale, lengthen both side bodies. Exhale, hug. This little C in. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hug it in. That way you feel long through the sides. So it's more about reaching up than it is like over. So you don't feel crunchy. Like inhale and then exhale. And then take a couple breaths. Notice if your toes are gripping on that foot that's out to the side. Good. And then inhale, rise up. And exhale, let the arm come down. Bring the knees back together. So we're going to work with Ustrasana a little bit. And I have lots of variations for everybody. So hopefully everybody can find their expression of this pretty advanced pose and back bend. So the blocks can go back there, or if you have a bolster, you could also lay the bolster over your heels if you don't have blocks. The blocks are just taller, so, but like I can get my fingertips to that just by kind of going back. So that works too. But the blocks are taller, so I'm gonna use those. So I'm gonna do just this variation first, arms out in front, like we did in our chair pose, palms up, hug the arm bones back into the sockets. And again, if you found that the arms coming a little wider than the shoulders activated your upper spine more, then I would do that, because we want everything in the back body really working here. And then I just want you to inhale here, and then exhale, just lean back, just to get the quads warmed up, keeping your body nice and flat. And then inhale, come back up over your knees. Exhale, lean back. Because you start to notice you can't bend at the waist. So it starts to help you kind of push the pelvis forward a little bit, not pinching, right? Just lengthening the tailbone and kind of pushing the pelvis forward. Yeah, and the quads have to work quite a bit. Good, come back up, right? Then release the hands to the hips. And if the wrists and the hands will do it, you can place your hands on the lower back, upper booty, fingertips pointing up. My wrists don't point all the way down. If it's too much on the wrist, just do soft fists like this and squeeze the elbows back. Lift the heart space and feel the top of the sacrum nod into the lower spine, and kind of start again, push your pelvic bowl forward like you're sliding it across the table, right? So feel your whole pelvic bowl sort of push forward, and then lift the heart space up and forward. And you can even lift the gaze a little bit. Even if you're lifting the gaze, kind of keep the chin toward the chest, like you're holding a peach there. And try not to pinch, just ground in your big toenails. So this is one variation. Good. Everybody looks different. And then bring your gaze forward first. Drop the chest. Drop the arms at the sides, up on high knees. So if you can sit back on a block between the ankles, sit back. If you can't, come to child's pose. Take a little rest. Just take an easy child's pose where your arms come forward more. I'm guessing if you can't sit back, it's the knee flexion thing. That's why I gave you the child's pose version. We'll just take a little rest here. So you can do, for our third time around for everybody, any one of the variations that I just gave you of Ustrasana. So you can just work with the strengthening in the quads, moving in and out if you want. That was a variation. And you can just do the Ustrasana like this. And then if you can sit back, a third option, if you're able to sit back on this block like this, is to put your hands on the ground behind you. And this is just going to let you press up into the chest some more. So this is another way to do it. Ustrasana if the knees allow you to sit in flexion this much. And then if not, you have the other variations. And of course, there's always child's pose, right? Good. So if you're in any of these, remember to be lifting the heart space and keep the chin like toward the chest. Keep the breath there so that the inner core muscles are supporting the spine and the back bend the whole time. Yeah. So really inhale, expand. If you want to do this one, it's exhale back. Inhale, come up. Exhale back. Yeah, you can do it like this too. And then come back. So this just prep for Ustrasana is like making me sweat. Inhale, come up. And exhale back. Just keeping your body in that flat plank as you go back. Good. And then everybody will eventually make their way to child's pose. Take a few breaths here. And then lift up, walk the hands over to the right. Let's take some lateral flexion here after the back bend and feel the tension drain. And then walk your hands to center and over to your left. Again, lateral flexion this way. Feeling the spine release, especially over on that right side. And coming back to center. Go ahead and rise up to hands and knees. Make some hip circles clockwise. Internal gaze really staying rested inside, maybe even around the navel chakra or below to the root chakras, just to ground your energy down after the back bend, and then counterclockwise. You can really feel the exhale pouring down into the pelvic bowl and the pit of the abdomen. Then coming all the way down again to your belly. Stack your hands, rest the forehead. Crocodile breath for just a few rounds. So just laying in this crocodile posture, breathing deeply, staying connected to the breath so that the mind has something to stay focused on. Then you can bend into your knees, flex the feet or draw the toes towards the knees. Take the knees wide and very gently reverse wiper knees. Take your feet to the right and then take them over to the left. Just move side to side, allowing the flow of the breath to be there, not restricting the breath in any way. One more time right and one more time left. Bring the feet back up to center. You can rest the soles of the feet together. My whole soles of my feet, it's more like just the big toe sides of my feet naturally kind of rest together. Feet apart, knees hip width, relax the legs. So if you do not have a bolster, just remain here in crocodile breath. But if you do, press back just to grab that bolster and put it under your hips in crocodile breath. Then it becomes more of like a supported down dog because your booty's up, but your legs and your upper body are down. It just gives you a little extra traction. Another alternative for a bolster is you could roll up a blanket or another yoga mat and put it under just to lift the hips just enough. And it gives you that nice traction on the lower spine from the back bends, from all that compression. Keeping the awareness inside. Feel that gentle pressure, the third eye chakra. Yeah, you got to move it down so it doesn't push into your bladder. It's like the top part of the bolsters on your hip bones. Oh, get a blanket. Yeah. I remember that when I was nursing. I couldn't do it at all. Like at all. And then for a long time after too, like, and some days I still just, yeah, it just feels uncomfortable. Yeah, if you need a cushion under across the chest, use a blanket. Sometimes the mat isn't enough between the hard floor. So crocodile breath and this pose are not poses that require any sort of like warm up or prep or anything like that. They're kind of one of those amazing stop, drop, and yoga poses. If you just like only have a few minutes and wherever you are, you trust the floor. If you're at home or a home office or something, really just 2 to 5 minutes and just breathe really deep. And the immediate effects can be profound. So if you have a very active mind and it's already wondering how long we're going to be here, just for like another 30 seconds. Good, and slowly curl yourself back to a child's pose. If you have the bolster, you can sometimes get it where it comes underneath your forehead. Good. Yeah, even a slight lift of the hips on that one with the blanket, I think you still can feel that nice sensation, yeah, of the traction from the sacrum and the lower spine. So use this last minute or so before Shavasana to just kind of take that gaze around again in your physical body and your mental body, your energetic body, and see if you notice any changes or just the effects that a back bend practice has for you. Just this act of paying attention on purpose and then taking those moments to actually kind of examine and self-examine the effects really can build that skill of discernment. And we'll come to Shavasana. I'm going to turn the brighter lights off here in the studio. If you have a towel or something to put over the eyes, I would suggest it. Especially again, that the back bending practice can be energizing and it's later in the day. So anything you can do to really kind of calm that energy back to a place of equanimity, you'll appreciate it. And I usually suggest when I do back bends in these evening classes to still do 5 minutes of legs up the wall before bed, if you remember. It's not terribly late, but I don't know. It's getting into those cold months where we're not particularly active in the evenings. Like We might be in the summer. So just get yourself arranged comfortably using whatever props you want, wherever you are, whatever you need. If you need to be warm, you can cover up. It's okay. I think it's okay. You just scooted it a little bit. I know. It's like sliding across the floor. Weight is also a useful tool. If you have like sandbags or even those little weighted eye pillows or whatever, or just even a heavy blanket over the forehead or the head, is very nice. And bring your awareness down to your feet. And just imagine that you can draw your breath from your feet all the way up through the legs, through the whole body and up into the crown of the head. Feeling it wash over you, and then exhale. Just let it release back down again like it's washing out and out of the feet. And if you need to do that a couple more times, feeling the back body really just release and let go into the floor, and the front body soften and open. You can just imagine that, like ocean waves washing over the beach. The inhales, it comes in, it washes up, and it just washes back out. And then soften through your whole face, just relaxing the inner corners of the eyes, the cheekbones, the jaw. Feel the throat soften, swallowing if you need to. And then allow your mind to drop all the way down into the navel chakra and the root chakras below. It's about 2 fingers below the actual belly button and down to the base of the spine, this area, pit of the abdomen, if you will. And just feel a roundness there, the fullness, softness. Just settle into this space. As best as you can with each passing breath. Allow it to just draw you deeper and deeper into the experience of this space at the root chakras, your base chakras. And don't worry about seeking any experience in particular. Give yourself permission to feel immersed in whatever arises, to feel deeply grounded and connected to your origin. And just allow yourself to rest in it. Gradually begin to deepen your in-breath and let it out long and slow. Wiggle fingers and toes. Circle wrists and ankles. As you're ready, you can slowly roll to your right side, bending in the knees if you need to. Allow yourself a couple of moments here, feeling the flow of the breath again, deepening. And on an exhale, press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And if you'd like, you can join me by bringing your hands to your heart in prayer, bow your head. Drop your gaze into your heart space at the center of your chest and just cultivate a feeling of gratitude for this opportunity to share in our practice together, to lend our energy to one another, and to gather nourishment from each other. May all beings know peace. May all beings everywhere be healed. May all beings know the beauty of their own true nature. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And thank you to everyone in studio and at home for being here. Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.